Yes, Siding Spring Observatory. It's a wonderful location. Of course, nearly lost it in the big fires a couple of years ago. Just at Coonabarabran there, it's up on the mountain. Beautiful spot, beautiful spot. Great for stargazing out there. And there are lots of stars to gaze at. And of course, if you've tried to look up in the night sky here in Sydney, it's very hard to escape the light pollution. And that's what makes Coonabarabran such a great spot. The ANU's Siding Spring Observatory has made some great contributions as a result of what they can see out there. They've discovered the oldest known star, 13.6 billion years old. It detected the comet, which had a close call with Mars on Monday. That's how it got to be called, the Siding Spring Comet. But the facility could be forced to shut down because of light pollution caused by coal seam gas projects 50 kilometres away. Peter Small is a technical support officer with the ANU's Observatory at Siding Spring and joins me this morning. Peter, good morning.
Good morning. How are you going?
Well, thank you. How is it that CSG projects are affecting what Siding Spring does?
Well, it's not just coal seam gas by itself, but a multitude of any sort of light pollution can affect what we are doing here at Siding Spring. So we're an optical telescope site. We have about 48 telescopes here. We have the largest optical telescopes in Australia all over the mountain. We host international and local businesses here. And what happens is we need dark skies. So the effect of any sort of light pollution can dramatically alter how far we can see. It's the same as you said, in Sydney. You can only see so much of the stars because of the light pollution there. And even the Sydney light pollution 400 kilometres away can affect what we are doing up here.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, absolutely. We can see that. Yeah.
Any other sources around you of light pollution?
Yeah, normally towns are what can cause this sort of stuff. We have neighbouring mines about 120k away, and part of the problem that occurs there is dust will reflect the light up higher and it will make it worse than just the light itself.
Right.
But, so we try to engage with other towns and businesses to just do simple things like face the lights downward, put a shield on top of the light, because any light that goes up is completely wasted. It doesn't. It doesn't work.
It's not serving. It's not lighting up your book or whatever, is it? It's on the street. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And do you get cooperation?
Yes, some people do. Some businesses do. Yes, the council in Coonabarabran has been fantastic. So over the last 30 years, we've got these photos that show the light pollution from 30 years ago and today. And the council have worked very hard to keep their pollution down, and it has shown, because even though the size of the town has increased, the light pollution is the same as it was 30 years ago.
No, it's not a bad effort at all.
Yeah, that's right, it is.
What about those mines, the existing mines?
No, well, we try and approach them, especially when there's the Planned Assessment Commission meetings, when they go to do expansions or new projects. And so we will ask those commissioners to maybe put these rules in place that they have to have shielding on top of their lights. And some of them are fantastic. They'll come back here and have meetings with the astronomers and the head of staff, and they will have a talk, and they walk away happy. It's probably one of the easiest conditions that they can meet, is just to put a bit of shielding on top and keep the dust down, and that's it. I'm sure there are a lot of environmental concerns with locals and all those sort of things there, but that's probably more difficult to tackle than just putting a shield on top of a light.
Yes, yeah, and you'd think it'd be in their interests. It makes them look like they're being good citizens, but not everybody is playing ball. And it's not just about light bulbs, is it? It's about other activities around the mines.
Yeah, it is, because like I said, dust can have a huge effect on scattering the light upwards.
Yeah.
And on top of that, coal seam gas brings a different mining into the area. It'll be a lot closer. And it could be easily within 50 k's the first few projects that they're starting in the area, but the whole northwest of New South Wales is covered by these exploratory licences. But the biggest concern is flaring. So that's just a big fire in the sky. Like, you can't shield that. It's obvious. So as a university, we want to work together with all these industries that are coming into the area. They weren't here 50 years ago when we first started. So with that, we've approached them before their last approval to flare in the day and not of the night. or to do like they in the US, some of the states now are actually, they have to capture all gases. They can't burn this stuff off.
Don't flare at all.
Don't flare at all. And so, to us that seems fairly reasonable to ask to, do it in the day and not of the night. I mean, the flaring doesn't actually do anything productive. It's just wastage.
Right, so they could do it at any time. Are you getting, what sort of response are you getting?
We're getting no dialogue at all. Actually, we've been, in the last article in The Guardian, their approach was that that we've got to wait for the next environmental impact statement. But see, we've approached them before their new projects that have been approved, and we've still had no dialogue. So it's to us, it's a little disappointing because this is the only site, the premier site in Australia doing this science. And like I said, we host international and local telescopes all around this, all doing different science. And projects like the SkyMap, the ANU SkyMap, are the most advanced telescope in Australia, would not have found that oldest star if it was light pollution.
So there seriously is a threat to the work, to the facility in general terms. I mean, could it be forced to close?
If light pollution got to a stage that they couldn't see what's out in the sky, absolutely. It can come from any industry, any sort of light pollution on a big scale. But a common term up here is called that it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's a light source over to the left, a light source to the right, a light source in the middle. Everyone's got little lights on, and it ends up in one big picture of light everywhere. Yeah. So it's not just if all these industries went away. It'd be fantastic with the expansion of towns. Even like I said, Sydney 400k away, we can see that. We can see Narrabri and Gunnedah clearly, and they're 100k away.
Wow.
So with expansion, we hope that councils will engage with us and use proper street lighting. Like I said, you get light facing down. It's far more practical for both parties.
And you're doing all of this negotiation and trying to sort of get the dialogue going, as you say, trying to work together. You're doing it all yourselves. You're supposed to be looking at the stars. It sounds to me like you need a federal science minister to do the work for you. That is a loaded question, I'll have you know.
Yes, I can see that. And, it would be interesting to have... We have some protection here, in a sense that the regional development, the RDA, have got this Arana project. So we're supposed to have a buffer zone within 100 k's that protect us from certain things happening. But these exploration licences and that seem to be above those regulations. So while the town itself here in Coona, we have to regulate, we've got certain zones like 10 kilometres, 25, 50, 100, where you have to mitigate lighting and you have to get council approval to do certain projects. It seems that, I would say it looks like industry has got the go-ahead in a big way in Australia. And we think of ourselves very much like a critical industry, being the only guys doing this in Australia. It's not like this short-term industry comes and goes, and then what do we do for the 10, 20 years that they're doing this? Do we just pack up and pretend that it didn't happen? It's
it's this is long-term important international science, as you say. Peter, we wish you luck. Keep us posted on it. We have a lot of interest in science on this show, so we'll be watching you closely. And I've very much enjoyed visits to Siding Spring in the past, so the very best of luck with it.